I've used both of these with all of my boys. Okay, today I'm going to do a comparison with these two curriculums. They are both grammar programs for, I want to say, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. You could probably go up even a little bit higher. Hi, welcome to Learning with Boys. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom of 4 boys. I have graduated too. This school year I will have a 6th grader and an 11th grader. So I want to share a comparison about 2 curriculums that I have done an actual video individually on Shurley English Grammar and also Winston Grammar. And I will link those below, but I thought I would do a video comparing them. So I hope that is helpful. Now, Shirley English, the one I will show you first, is something I've used with all my boys. I have usually introduced that to them in some form before I have done Winston Grammar. With one of my boys, I had done it intensely for a year or 2. With another one, I just did it lightly, but I have done it with all of them. And then sometimes I go back and we'll do Shirley again. But Winston Grammar I do as a review year because I will explain Shirley is a little bit more teacher intensive, and Winston Grammar is you just show them once a week and really could just do it a few times a week and it would be fine. And either one could really be used throughout probably even 6th grade. You could probably combine both of them. I think Winston you'd want them to work on it individually, but when you're explaining the one lesson a week to them, you could do it together. So I've done that with 2 boys, but they were at different levels. One moved much faster than the other because it was a review for them. So I just let them work on it more independently. But with Shirley, it's going to be something they do together. You teach it, you work on the same sentences. It's more teacher intensive. So, all right, let's turn the camera around and take a look inside both of these and see how they compare. Okay, I am going to go ahead and start with Shirley English, and remember I do have a video just on this, so I'm not going to go in as much detail but try to do like a comparison. So this is the teacher's guide. There will be a student workbook. I do not have that. It was a consumable. It is probably packed away. It also has a CD. They have jingles. And then this is an extra thing you don't need. We have used it on and off, but it's a practice booklet, and it actually will have the sentences that you will be working on, and I will show you what I mean by that. Okay, let's look at the teacher's guide because it does give a little sample of the student worksheets. We'll just start in lesson 3 here. And if you see these sentences here, this is what you will be doing. You'll be marking that. And with the jingles and in the student notebook, you will go over jingles for like what a sentence is, what a verb is, what a noun is, all 8 parts of speech you will be learning. They also have some reference pages that have to do with either writing or different types of verbs, different types of pronouns, things like that. And that is all in the student book, but it's also throughout the teacher's guide. It tells you when to introduce which reference page. So, and all of this would be shown more on my specific video just for this curriculum. So it is more teacher intensive because you do need to be looking. I mean, you could look at a week ahead and see what you're going to be teaching that week, but you will reference this book each day. So you will start out like today is lesson 1. There's not a new thing, but you will have a jingle time. You're not introducing any new jingles or reference numbers. They do have teacher notes that you would want to read over. And then you'll have your sentence, which, let me see if I have that specific one in here. Okay, I don't have that specific one in here, but this is the same idea. This is lesson 7, and really it would just be a question answer flow from what you've learned with the jingles, and you would be having them read the sentence. Then you would say, for example, the first sentence is, during our grandmother's visit, we sang happily with Mother's radio on the porch. You would say, who sang? And then they would say we, that would be the subject pronoun, and then you would ask, what is we doing? Then they would say sang, and they would know that that's the verb. They should have learned that by now. And then you would ask sang how, when, or where to know what the adverb is. And then you could talk about a preposition phrase, all this stuff they would have learned. This is actually chapter 7. So it moves pretty quickly. When you start in book 1 or book 2, it's very basic. I think they even go over in book 1 like alphabetical order and things like that. So, but this is 4th grade, and the nice thing about this curriculum is you could combine it from anywhere 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. So I did want to share that thought with you. It is teacher intensive, but you can combine, I don't think, without any problem, because a lot of it is just the same review to keep the repetition going throughout the years, and then it will build each year. It'll build a little bit more. So I just wanted to give you an idea. Let's see if it tells you all that they will be learning. It's a little bit small, so it may not be specific on all they're learning. This might give you a little bit of an idea. This is the abbreviations for the descriptions, so you would know what that is. And then it breaks down sentences. And here they have possessive pronoun adjectives, possessive noun adjectives, conjunctions, so, and a little bit more. So these are a lot of the things you'll be learning. You'll learn the different types of sentences throughout. But it is, like I said, each day you will be reviewing, and then I thought, let's see if I can find a chapter. One thing I liked about it, and I mentioned this in the other video, is sometimes you go ahead and just write subject, verb, and you just pick some abbreviations, and then they fill it in with words to make their own sentence. And you just want to make sure that they understand it, which is great. And here's one of the references: improved sentences, labeling practices. That's what that is. So let's see. I was just seeing if they actually had. Okay, so this would be in the student book. This would be your answers. A lesson from chapter 4 that they would do. And their lessons are really usually pretty short. Sometimes they might be a little bit longer, but at the end, they'll have a test of each chapter. Now, this is definitely, to me, more of a traditional type grammar. It does have a workbook, but it is definitely laid out different. Like that one section I showed you. You know, they don't have a whole page of work. They just have this much. But they have already done 3 sentences with you. So, and I will tell you, I have used these a little bit, but a majority of the time I would already have these sentences written on the whiteboard, and I would let him fill it out on the whiteboard. So it is pretty flexible, and I do have a detailed video. I know I keep saying that, but I just want you to know I'm not giving as much detail on here. Just an idea to show you the comparison. Okay, here is Winston Grammar. Now, Shirley English is something that I feel like really taught me how to teach my boys about grammar. And you could use it every year. I have a friend who used it every year until, like, 8th grade. But for me, it is teacher intensive. So this is something that is more of a review year and something they can do a little bit more independently. So let me just give you an idea of how this works. You will have a teacher's manual. We'll introduce a new concept each week. It starts out very basic. So a lot of times, if I have already gone through Shurley English, they'll be able to move pretty quickly with this, depending on your child. Some need a good review at the beginning of the year. They have hands-on cards that go with it, and they tell you what the cards will mean. You actually will do a sample lesson with them. So at the beginning, let's see what sentence they are using here. The boy and the girl saw a man eat an apple. So all you've learned in lesson 1 is a and the, which is an article. And you've also learned what a noun is, a person, place, thing, or idea. So when you're going to fill out your student worksheet, which it will have a sentence, you will pull out the cards, and usually I try to have this set out for them. Depends on their age. Usually I do this around 4th grade, so that they can, once they get it down, they can become pretty independent about it. Okay, that's a noun. And each color represents, and they'll be adding. So you would pretty much look at this sentence, and I know you can't really see it real well, but they've learned that an article adjective is a and the, and that's how you would mark it on the sentence. And then they know boy is a noun, and that shows you the underline is how you're going to mark it. And then they haven't learned what and is yet, so they'll just put a black card. And as the year goes, they'll be filling in. By the end, there's no black cards. They'll figure out what each word will have a purpose. So, and then again, girl is a noun. They haven't learned, girl is a noun. They haven't learned what saw is yet. So, I don't know if you could see this. All right. And then saw a, which is an article adjective, and then another noun. Do I have another noun one out? I don't, but that gives you the general idea. So they're just, here, I do have another noun. So that gives you a general idea. They're just putting cards down. So when they take the student notebook, let's look at the first lesson. Of course, I should have used a sentence out of the student workbook. They will mark it. They will look at their cards and already be able, they won't even need to think about it too much. Again, because they just need to I need to put a check mark here. I need to underline my noun. And then I don't know what that is yet, so they don't do anything to it. And then they know that's another article adjective, and that's a noun, and so on. And they just don't even mark anything they don't know yet. So by the time the end comes, you see how sloppy my son's writing is. I mean, they're having almost everything marked and filled out, prepositions, what's modifying what. So it does really build. It starts out very slowly, but it does build. And really, you just have to introduce a new concept each week. They take the cards and they can do, I don't even make them do a whole page. They can do, I usually start out with 4, and then they can do 4 and 4. So, and then they can move on to 2. Now, this probably is not a whole year, because you're going to do maybe 2 lessons a week at the most, and there are 30 lessons, so you might finish it early if you use that. If you do a lesson a day, I mean, it's only 30 lessons, 30 worksheets. So that's why I only do 4, and sometimes only half of it. And that just makes it very simple. They just have to do a few sentences a day. Okay, I hope that was helpful in explaining a little bit. I do encourage you, if you're interested in one or the other, to check my videos out below that I have on them. I really do feel like Shirley is the grammar program that taught me how to teach my boys. And then I feel like I've been flexible on just pulling out any grammar program and making it work. Now, I haven't used a whole lot of other ones. We actually are going to use something different for my 6th grader this school year that you will see. We are using Heart of Dakota program, and that is what they use. It is actually Rod and Staff. It's level 5. So if you are interested in homeschool content, I would love for you to subscribe and follow us along in our journey. And if this video was helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up. That would encourage me so much. And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I will do my best to answer you, and I appreciate you all watching, and we will talk to you again soon.